BobbyFi with my man Eric Sheets. We're going to be talking a little bit of MLB Showdown for the World Series, something I really am not excited about for many reasons, none of which being more than I hate both of these teams. They're my three least favorite teams in baseball. These are two of them, and I don't plan on watching 1 minute of the World Series after watching a million minutes of playoff basketball. But I do think there is some places we can go for DFS play. They made it kind of condensed pricing over here on DraftKings, so I think it's going to be kind of an interesting spot to try to get some, try and figure out how we're going to build, because you're going to get a lot of chalk on the really cheap guys, the worst hitters, and you're going to have almost no chalk on the best hitters, the most expensive hitters. You know, the Freddie Freemans, Jose Altuve, Kyle Tucker, Jordan Alvarez are all going to be significantly lower owned because you can't fit them in very easily. So that's my first thoughts on this slate. Sheets, why don't you pull up your screen and we can talk about maybe doing some builds. The other
thing, just give me 1 second. Okay, yes, looks good. Just pause for just a second. Sorry.
Yep, no problem. So we're just gonna, go ahead with your early thoughts, and then we'll jump in to try and see how we can actually build, because you can see once you try to build, it's really hard to get the hitters in.
Well, first thing, let's talk lineup for a second. So the one, when I was doing early projection runs, I wasn't sure whether to project Heredia or Jock Peterson in for Atlanta. Do you have any thoughts on which one of them might get in? Is that as the DH, I guess?
No.
Okay.
Most likely, there's no way Heredia would be the DH. They would only play him because they'd want to play him in center field.
Oh, okay.
But Jock, like, he was so hot they had to keep playing him even against lefties. But in general, not a guy who hits lefties at all. So just for whatever that's worth. But it doesn't mean he can't hit any home runs off lefties. He's done it just recently. But he is not a guy you generally want to be playing against left-handed pitchers at all.
Because right now I projected him in. Who else would it be? I guess I'll deal with that later, because I have.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have 10 guys. I have 9 hitters, and Jock is one of them. And if it's not going to be Jock, then it's got to be Heredia, because I have Soler, Albies, Duvall, Riley, Freeman, Rosario, Swanson, d'Arnaud, and Jock is the other hitter. So it's either going to be him or Heredia. No,
I don't think there's any guarantee that Soler. I mean, I think they'll start Soler, but this guy had 2 at bats in the entire Dodgers series.
Okay, so let's watch for that.
I guess they'll play Soler today and DH him if they play Heredia or Peterson in the outfield. So
okay,
neither of those guys are DHing in my opinion. Or maybe Soler, but yeah, go ahead.
So we got Morton and Valdez starting. How do you think the World Series is going to go with respect to starting pitching? I mean, do you feel as though they just let these guys run? Or is it like we've seen where every inning is a freaking sweat, and these guys might pitch like 2 or 3 innings? Because the one thing was good, well, one thing was bad for you, but good for Morton, is that they had Morton like keyed up to pitch a game 7, which they didn't have to pitch, which he didn't have to do. So he's got an extra day of rest, so he's ready to roll if they need him to.
Yeah, I don't think there's any such thing as the rest part of it factoring in, to be honest, for the most part.
Okay.
Not yet. Maybe as the series goes on and they do weird things like the Dodgers for some reason chose to do. Look, they're gonna have a leash on the more now in the first game than they ever will the rest of the games. Between the two, I would give the slight edge to Valdez, but I think that I would try. I still think even in this game, I might even consider just not playing the pitchers. Because if you play the pitchers, it really is hard. If you pull up your screen and we try and look at a build, you basically you basically cannot play these guys. You can't play many of them if you want to captain any of them in the without playing the 4K guys who are all going to be mega chalk. And both pitchers are probably going to be pretty chalky tonight as well, because it's sure points for the most part. I don't mind. I don't mind either of them. Like I said, slight edge maybe to Valdez, but it's pretty close.
Well, the bad news is that there are no 4K guys.
Well, there's McCormick, or whether it's McCormick or Siri. There's Michael. I'm sorry. There's Maldonado. Michael Brantley's only 6.4. Those are going to be your chalkiest plays. Are going to be McCormick or Siri, Maldonado, and Brantley, and of course Eddie Rosario too, even in the lefty-lefty matchup. So that's just something worth considering. You know what I mean? It's a strange thing when the best hitters, you don't really have to get off the board by just playing them, and that's the route I would probably choose to take on this slate.
Right.
To play Freddie Freeman, to play Altuve, to play maybe Kyle Tucker at maybe what seems like too high of a price tag. At least he's got more outs to get you there because he can steal bases as well. That's another thing I like to do on these showdown sites: play Albies, play Tucker, play the guys who can actually go out there and steal you a base. It just adds, it's a huge other way to get there. The guy who seems the most pricing off, but hasn't really hit the ball as well as we've seen him in the past, started looking a little better throughout the Houston series. I would be Bregman. He's in the middle tier and would probably be my favorite play on a point per dollar basis for the hitters. These pitchers are going to probably put up double-digit points, and maybe we should pick one of them because of that. At the same time, I kind of like the idea of getting away from the chalk and just playing the hitters, and you can really cash in that way, or maybe considering a mid reliever. I don't know that this is the right game to try and do that, because I think you'll see a lot of one inning things, if anything. These pitchers should be able to, at least one of these guys should get through 5. As I say it out loud, I keep talking myself into playing one of them, but I do think it's a slightly better matchup for Valdez. Morton's a slightly better pitcher than Valdez, in my opinion. So just do with what you will. They have the same strength.
You want to have some fun. You want to pretend that this is an actual slate. Why don't we let's talk about this like it would be football for a second. So if you played Morton, what would a lineup look like where you only played Houston lefties and not play the Houston righties? So just because Morton's a righty, right? I mean, it makes sense to my son, right? So I figured I would just throw that out there.
So Alvarez, Tucker, Brantley.
So let me just see what those guys' priced are. So let's say you do Tucker, Alvarez. So it looks as though that
you use McCormick as your. Oh, that's Morton as your. I'm sorry, I thought it was McCormick in the account.
Right. So I see that Brantley's like super cheap.
Yeah.
So let's just start with that. Or let's just start with Morton and Brantley, and let's just say we were going to try to be cute and play Valdez 2.
You're playing a very narrow range, and you're going to be with mega chalk.
You think so?
100%.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, there's no question that McCormick, Maldonado is going to pop off the page for people, because you just want to have players at that point. You know what I mean? It doesn't really make enough of a difference in baseball. The Correa, and I like the middling guys for Houston to go with the bigger bats. I'm having trouble getting to. I actually think Morton may have more of a ceiling because he's got a better strikeout stuff. But I think Valdez, like I said, I expect him to. It's a little bit of a better matchup for him. So either one of these guys could have a game. I think I would be leaning to play one pitcher, and probably not both, unless you really feel like this game is going to be just completely low scoring, which is not the way I think of the games. They haven't been like that in Houston so far, and being in the American League Park and all. I just I want to side with the hitting, but I probably will have to play one pitcher, just because it's too many free points.
If you played Morton in the captain, I mean, this has been kind of a build that
I would not do, but go ahead. Yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is the one thing you could do, and these are builds that I kind of like, is just to go just full on one team, like Morton and like 4 hitters, and then just throw one of the other team in there just to have.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna have Brantley be, let's say, the one guy, I mean, you could fill out your lineup, with some, I just put Heredia in, okay, but whatever. But you can do it this way if you wanted to play Morton the captain. But you're more of the belief that you want to take shots with other guys in the captain anyway, right?
Yeah, and I would probably look at Correa and Bregman, because then you're getting some savings, actually, because it's hard when you play a hitter at the same price as a pitcher in the captain. But when you play a hitter and you're getting a discount and it allows you to play the other hitters you want, or the pitcher in the utility spot, then it starts to make a lot more sense, because hitter can go out there and hit a home run and still not have the same upside of the pitcher, you know?
Right. So
So
let's just say, so Correa would be your favorite. You think that would be your favorite, Correa?
I think it would be, for me, it would be probably Bregman, but Correa would be second.
Yeah, has Bregman done much recently?
That's what I was saying. He hasn't been
Yeah.
hitting the ball quite as much. He's a much better hitter than Correa is, for what it's worth.
Right. Yeah, but Bregman doesn't like stand up and show up the other team up and put his hand on his wrist like that, like Correa does. So
You got to hit a home run to do it first.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Now you mentioned this a little earlier about the possibility of some of these middle relievers getting in there. Do you have any insight as to which one of those I should play if I want to play?
It won't really be middle relievers. I shouldn't say it like that. It's like I said, I expect it if they go. I mean, it really depends on how the game plays. You know what I mean? It's like, what's your take on the game? I think Houston wins this game probably more often than not, somewhere around this, 7-4, 7-5, 7-3 kind of a range. If that's going to happen, but then I would probably be looking at the Houston back end of the bullpen, the closer and whatnot. If it happens the other way, but even still, you're not getting that many fantasy points from these guys. Unless you think the game's going to be a back and forth sort of duel where they just happen to both be tied in the later innings, you capitalize. I like the Braves pitching options better out of the bullpen, even though I think that Houston's bullpen is as good as better than the Braves in some ways. The problem they're going to run into with the series that's kind of an interesting one is that Atlanta's best bullpen pitchers were perfect to pitch against the Dodgers because they're all lefties, except for Alex Jackson, really. So they're 3 out of their 4 final guys they'll use are going to be lefties. Houston, it's going to be harder to do that against a team that's just has righties all over the place. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. That's why I'm not really leaning a certain way. There's not one that really stood out that I need to have this pitcher in tonight's game. I know that's not great help, but that's why I probably won't be using a relief pitcher. I will as the series goes along, but I need to see what Atlanta's going to try to do with these Houston guys, because it does seem like a bad idea to throw out lefties against this Houston team, not unlike the Dodgers, where it was the right thing to do.
And what do you do? Are any guys particularly have a lot of pinch hit risk? And if so, I mean, are there pinch, like, for example, if Jock Peterson doesn't get the start, I mean, he could be someone to throw in as kind of like a 0% owned guy to go against the righty later on in the game, no? Or is it too speculative to go for pinch hitters?
Especially in an American League game, I would say that's really speculative. You're also not getting a discount on Jock Peterson. It's not like he's getting priced as a bench guy.
Right.
You're paying the same for him as you are for Bregman and Correa, basically.
Right.
So I would just rather, I mean, yeah, there's always a chance for that pinch hit thing. I just think that's a really skeptical way to play unless you're playing 150.
Okay.
That's just my personal take, but I do think that that's what I'll probably do is use Bregman or something in my captain, and then try to use one of the pitchers. Probably mostly would be, I think I would lean Morton for DFS purposes, even though I expect Valdez to have a better game. He just doesn't have the same strikeout stuff that Morton does. It is Morton's former team, and if this was a regular season game, I might say, hey, you can always stack against your former team. But
right.
I don't know. Right. I don't know if it fits that bill exactly. And you're right, Morton is very rested up. Even though I'm not worried about Valdez not being able to pitch, I just think they both have had plenty of rest, but especially Morton. So it's really a pick 'em for those guys for me. I think maybe I'd slightly lean Morton now for DFS purposes. I also think that Valdez might be a little bit higher owned. Better matchup, like I said, for Valdez, better strikeout pitcher in Morton. That's basically what it is.
All anyway. Right. I guess that's pretty much all we got. You know, we got to wait for the lineup.
Yeah, it's hard to know without the lineup, and it's going to be an interesting series to see how it plays out, and we can be, we can speculate all we want. It's gonna be interesting to see it. The series get more interesting to me when the games are, it's 2-0, somebody's up in the series or whatever, because you're going to have some opportunities to then you can really speculate on the relief pitching, who's going to come in out of the pen, how are they going to manage the bullpen. It's just hard to know going into the first game, and you'd think they would do what's sort of like a feel out thing and give their pitchers a chance to maybe struggle a little bit. That's just my take. So
watch for the lineups. I'll be there live at 6, and it's only 5 game slate in the NBA, so I'll probably hang out even past 6:30. we could talk about the baseball if you want, shoot the crap about whatever else you want. We'll have better. Well, obviously we'll have hopefully we have lineups by 6:30. That would be very nice. Hour and a half before the World Series starts.
Yeah.
And we'll go over more of this, and I'm playing, so I'll share with you guys what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm probably, just so you guys know, if you guys watch a little of this and don't come live, I am going to be doing a bunch of those 5-1 things. I mean, just because, again, I'll be very recency biased. Those are the lineups that have always seemed to have put me in a position to win. So I like that. I think that's a way that not that many people go. And I'll even punt one of the positions if I have to. So we'll see. I don't have the same type of ire towards Atlanta for some reason. I guess because Atlanta beat the Dodgers or whatever. But I'm certainly going to be into rooting against the Astros. That's for sure.
Oh, I want Atlanta to win. I just have no interest in watching any game of this series. I hate both teams and their fan bases. So.
Oh, we don't like the Atlanta fan base?
No, I think the tomahawk chop is one of the most disgusting and ridiculous things. I mean, forget the disgusting and forget the PC part of it. It's just an absolutely absurd, annoying chant that I heard my whole childhood in the 90s with those great Braves teams. I just hate it. I hate it. There's nothing else I could say about it. And partly maybe it has something to do with the fact that in the 90s they owned us completely. So
right.
And until recently we owned them, but it got brought back to it's ringing in my head still from a little too much trauma from the Dodgers being bounced recently by them.
Right.
But anyway, good luck to Atlanta. Seriously, I really hope they beat the hell out of Houston. I would pick Houston to win the series. That's my prediction. I think that they're not significantly. I think they're a better team. But I also think the Dodgers are better than both these teams. So that's what happens sometimes in baseball. Atlanta played a better series. Doesn't mean, maybe they play the better series this time against Houston.
Yep.
Any take on the series for you?
No.
No take? You can't even have a take on the series? You've been saying all year how Houston was going to beat the hell out of everybody.
I did.
Does have the largest single bet in history behind them. And they did a while ago. There's a guy, Mattress Mac, who
that guy. Okay.
Yeah, he wins 35 million, I think, if Houston wins. Which is
am I supposed to root against him, or for him?
I'm rooting against him.
Do we know him? He's like one of those guys.
No. He's not a sports gambler or anything like that. He's a mattress salesman guy, but he seems like a nice guy. I just hate Houston.
Yeah. Both teams give me good reason to root against them. I guess Astros are going to win. I mean, they just,
yeah.
I don't know. I just think they're going to win. They're a big star.
That's my take too. Anyway, guys, good luck to everybody out there tonight. We hope you guys crush it, and let's make some money, and let us know how the NBA DFS stuff is going. We'll do our first look for NFL tomorrow, and got a bunch of stuff coming up. So check out our Discord, and I'll attach it to the video, and yeah, come join us. Sheets, anything else?
Nope.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
I'll see you later.